You know this, it is day 2 of the FCAT testing, and while a lot of kids stress out over the test, a lot of parents are also worried that these tests may not be worth all the hype. The tests are designed to measure a student's progress in reading, math, and science, but plenty of parents say you can't measure children by the same exam. They point out there are learning curves, socioeconomic issues, and even special needs. When Governor Rick Scott was in town recently, we asked him what he thought about the criticism of the FCAT. Here's what he said.
If we want to improve anything, you've got to measure. So, whether you use FCAT or use another standardized test. When I was younger, we used the Iowa standardized test, I think it was called. So, I think testing is positive. If there's a better way to do it, I'm completely open to it. But what I like is that we've got, as you know, you probably saw I think it was the, I can't remember the group now, that said we had the #1 group of teachers in the country. So we're heading in the right direction. We have good measurement. We have great schools, but we've got a lot of opportunities still.
All right, joining us here on Good Day is Andrew Spar from the Volusia County Teachers Union. Andrew, good to see you once again. Thanks for coming in.
John. Good to see you.
You know what, I go back and forth on this one because I don't like a lot of the stuff that goes into the FCAT and the preparation, but we have to have some way to measure the students. What are your thoughts on putting this much pressure on one particular test?
Well, having assessments to measure students is very important. I mean, we do assessments all the time. The problem we have with FCAT, and actually now with end-of-course exams, is they're extremely high stakes. This is going to determine whether or not students are promoted, whether or not they graduate, what kind of funding schools get, and now whether or not teachers keep their jobs.
Yeah, do you think teachers should be judged by how the students do on the FCAT?
Well, I had teachers yesterday emailing me saying, what am I going to do? I had a kid who refused to take the test today, and then when I finally was able to encourage them to try, all they did was Christmas tree. Those are the kinds of things we hear every day. So there's no doubt that we have to have a way to include student learning in teacher evaluations, but this is just way too high stakes.
Here's one thing that I don't get, and I hope you can explain this to me, because in the 3rd grade, if you don't pass the test, I don't remember what the number is, but if you don't get a high enough score, you get held back. Okay, we're still 6 weeks out till the end of the school year. What do those students do who fail the test? Do they just hang out for the rest of the year knowing, I'm doing 3rd grade again?
Well, first of all, remember, we're not going to get these results back till the summer. So, it is true that 3rd grade students could be retained. And this year, they changed the test, so it's a harder test. And then now they're also raising the standards on the test. So while standards have increased every year and students and teachers and support staff have stepped up and met the challenge, this year we have essentially a double whammy as this test gets even more difficult, with the intent of many policymakers in Tallahassee saying, look, there's too many A and B schools and too many kids are being successful, so let's change the rules so that we don't have as many students being successful.
Okay, so what do you and the teachers you represent like to see happen? We can't get rid of standardized testing. Do you think it should just be a part of the curriculum, or what are your thoughts there?
Well, I think when we look at what's going on in our schools now, you have pep rallies and things going on before the testing to kind of get kids excited and take some of the stress off them, but the reality at the end of the day is we're going to spend 2 weeks here on FCAT followed by 3 weeks on end-of-course exams. We're losing an awful lot of instruction to testing. Testing shouldn't be the end-all and be-all. It should be used as a measurement to see how kids are doing, how we're doing in our schools, to make changes in curriculum, but it shouldn't be the end-all and be-all that it's become.
Why do you think there's been so much pressure put on this test in particular? Is it political? Is it something else? What do you think?
I think it is absolutely political. When you look at the dialogue that's going on in the conversation, on one side of the equation you have parents, you have students, you have teachers and administrators and support staff, and on the other side you have the Florida Chamber of Commerce, you have private school companies, for-profit charter school companies, virtual school companies. Big difference here. The difference is there's those who are really concerned about students' education, and there are those who want to make a profit off our kids. I'm a parent. I have 2 kids, one who's in public schools and one who will be eventually. The bottom line is I don't want anyone making money off my kids.
Andrew, thanks so much. Always good to talk to you. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you. Have a good day.
And Liz, another